Hello, my name is Tom Baker, and this is my persuasive speech number 1 with the Monroe sequence. Show you that I've got an audience here. All right, today I want to tell you guys a story. I want to tell you guys a story about Brady Alcade. Brady Alcade was a 9-week-old baby boy who died in January of 2012 from whooping cough. His mother, Catherine Riffenberg, didn't know and wasn't told that she needed a whooping cough booster shot in her 3rd trimester of pregnancy. By the time Brady died, he didn't look like the same baby boy that she knew, and so she decided to have a closed casket for his funeral. More and more people are deciding not to get vaccinated for childhood diseases nowadays, and more people are deciding not to have their children vaccinated for childhood common illnesses nowadays. Numerous papers and reports are showing that as these vaccination rates are dropping, all of these childhood illnesses rates, all of these rates are starting to increase. This is a problem. Today I want to talk about that problem. I want to talk about some of the causes of this problem, and I want to talk about what we can do about it. Diseases such as measles and whooping cough were very prevalent in the pre-vaccine era. Let's talk about measles, for example. In the pre-vaccine era, measles caused over 500,000 illnesses every year in the United States. After a vaccine was introduced in 1963, the measles rate dropped dramatically, and by 2000, it was eliminated in North America by the CDC standards. But this year alone, the measles rate has tripled compared to 2009. The CDC's Director of Immunizations, Ange Schuchat, says that this is because in most cases, people who are not vaccinated are becoming infected by people traveling into the United States, and then they spread it amongst their community. She quotes, "I don't want a child to die from measles, but it's almost inevitable that one does." In addition, the United States Department of Health and Human Services healthfinder.gov reports that in 2012, we had more cases of whooping cough than we've had since 1959. Why is this happening? There's 2 primary reasons. Number 1, insufficient vaccination. A lot of very small children are still getting their vaccinations when they're preschool and when they're early in their schooling. But unfortunately, they're not receiving all of their booster shots. Whooping cough, for example, requires a total of 5 booster shots up into early adolescence. But by the time they get to early adolescence, fewer than 70% have had their total sequence of shots. The second reason, personal. Whether it's medical reasons, whether it's non-medical reasons, religious, philosophical, or just plain fear. In 1998, a British physician by the name of Andrew Wakefield came out with a paper who linked the MMR, the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, to autism. This paper has since repeatedly been discredited. Dr. Wakefield had his license stripped by the British authorities and can no longer practice medicine. Despite that, since 1998, this fear has persisted. So people aren't vaccinating their children, and they aren't getting themselves vaccinated. And repeatedly, in numerous studies, in the areas where people are congregating and they're not getting themselves vaccinated and their children's vaccinated, those are the areas where the disease rates are the highest. So that leads me to my next point. Why do we need to be vaccinated? It's very clear why. Number 1, we need to protect our children from these childhood diseases. Number 2, as adults, we need to protect ourselves from these diseases, and we need to make sure that we're not carriers of these diseases. The third reason is that we need to protect our communities as a whole. This is something called herd immunity. There are some people in our communities that can't or won't be vaccinated. There are some people that get vaccinated that the immunity just won't take. That's their bodies. But if the community as a whole gets vaccinated, there's less of a chance for the disease to spread. This actually takes place on a global scale too, and I want to give you 2 examples of that. In the Soviet Union before its breakup in 1989, there were a total of 839 cases of diphtheria. After the breakup of the Soviet Union, throughout the newly independent states, there were almost 50,000 cases of diphtheria and over 1,700 deaths, mostly because of improper or incomplete vaccination among school-aged children. Let's look at the positive side, though, of herd immunity and what can be done with vaccination. Smallpox. Smallpox at one time killed, disfigured, or blinded millions of people throughout the world. But starting in the mid-20th century, the World Health Organization decided that they were going to go on a global campaign to rid the world of this disease. And by 1980, smallpox was eradicated from the face of the earth. Think about that. A disease that no longer exists. Clearly, one person, one small community is not going to be able to get rid of an entire disease. So what can we do? Number one, we can get ourselves immunized, and we can get our children immunized. If we can't remember, there are plenty of ways that we can help. There are tools online, forms, immunization charts that we can download and keep track of our immunizations. If we're in the digital age, there are apps for our smartphones that we can download that will remind us when it's time to get our shots. Number two, we can be proactive with our physician. If our physicians don't discuss it with us, we can discuss it with them for the immunizations that we need throughout our lifetimes, not just against diseases like measles and whooping cough, but things like a yearly flu vaccine, pneumococcal vaccines when we're over the age of 65. Take charge of your health. We can't prevent every disease that comes towards us, but if we get vaccinated and keep our health in check, if we can prevent one child like Brady from dying, then we've done our part. Thank you.